Greetings, Earthling reader friends. So today we are going to be reviewing The Long Walk by Stephen King. So I gave this book 3 stars as a rating. It wasn't the book for me, so I wasn't able to give it 4 stars, even though it was written very well. And I don't know, I felt like he was holding back. I just felt like there was something missing, and there was something that was vital, obviously, but I feel like it was a good story, but it wasn't great. It wasn't a great story, you know? I mean, it was good, it just wasn't, you know, as good as it could be. So basically the synopsis is that there's 100 boys, and they all apply to run in this, well, not run, they apply to walk in this annual marathon where they walk, and if you slow up, you get shot. And if you do anything else, you get shot. And you have to keep walking, you have to keep the same pace for the entire time. And it's a really eerie story when you look at it that way. And it's very unsettling and disturbing, especially if you're reading it for the first time. Or especially if you're reading a Stephen King work for the first time. It's very disturbing. There is going to be spoilers in this review, just to let you know. There will be spoilers. So I did like the ending. I thought that by killing the Major, or by attempting to kill the Major, that really developed Garrity's character and really closed his arc, if you want to put it that way, of what he was going through, what was going through his mind throughout the entire story. The character development in this story is noticeable and spot on. It's believable, it is not forced. For example, Ray goes from being Ray to just being tired and wanting to go home and actually, you know, saying, what's the point of this whole thing? Why did I give this so much up to do this? And I feel like that was really good writing. You know, it was written well, and it was slowly noticeable throughout the story. Like, there was little tidbits where you could see the development in Ray's character, and especially in other characters, like even McRise and Barkovich. I think that was his name, Barkovich. He became a little unhinged toward the end, but he still became a more developed character. Even though he was a side character. The elimination of characters was an interesting way to consolidate and make the story easier to read for me, because in the beginning there's a whole lot of characters you have to keep track of, and you know, some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them have similar names, so by the elimination of characters, it makes the story a little bit more accessible. It makes it easier to read. Also, with the fact that characters are constantly being eliminated, we also have time to focus on the characters that are still standing, and we can see more of their development, which is something that I thought was really, really good and really creative. The characters are very believable. They are well written, well developed, and depending on what Stephen King wants you to do, you can easily get very attached to them, or you can hate them, like, a lot. There's certain characters that you're never gonna like, no matter how many times you read it, and there's certain characters that when they die, you will cry your eyes out, no matter how many times you read it. While this book is futuristic and dystopian, what happens in the book is not that, you know, different from some things going on today, which is really scary. And I think that adds to the terror you feel while reading this book, because it's not like the Hunger Games. It's a little bit simpler and more easy to believe that it would actually happen one day. But it's a semi-plausible event that could end up happening one day. I mean, you never know. So it's not like it's out of the world. It's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. Although written really well, some parts of the story drag their feet. There are some parts where it feels redundant, the writing, and there are some parts that are just not interesting. It got repetitive after a while sometimes. There are some stories that feel repetitive and superfluous to the overall story arc. So one thing that bothered me about this book was that the term and action of squatted is never really explained, which bothered me because our main character's father is squatted, yet we don't know A, what that means, B, why. Well, we kind of know why, but we don't know a lot about this term, and the characters are talking about it frequently. I mean, there are a couple of, I haven't written down how many times it's mentioned, but I can't find it right now. So it's mentioned a lot, and it seems like an important term, but Stephen King never goes into it. And I feel like that left something to be desired, because it would have been more interesting had he gone into it and explored it a little bit more. I think it would have added more texture to the story. The fact that this event is televised and people actually come out to watch it is really good on Stephen King's part, because it makes the story even scarier. I mean, as soon as I heard that Garrity had gone to see it with his father, I was so freaked out. I was like, why would you want to go see something like this? You know, it's a very unsettling moment when you realize that how terrifying this book is. And people are gonna shoot back and say that it's not that scary, but like, when you think about it, it is. I thought Garrity was kind of irritating at some parts. He just repeated himself sometimes, you know? And some things felt forced and unnatural with his character, so I thought that was something else that would be resolved in the story. But some things, I think Stephen King failed to really make him feel like a natural character. You know, all the other boys in this story are believable, and like, they say stuff that you would hear, and then Garrity just felt forced to me, in my opinion. I loved pretty much all the characters with the exception of a few. The definite elimination of contestants makes your heart hurt. That's what I have written down. The fact that these are mostly teens who were just tired and didn't do anything but apply for this mission, not even a mission, this contest, makes you feel bad for them, because they are just trying to survive in this world. They just want that prize money. You know, it can make a better life for them. Or, you know, one of the guys, I forget what his name was, he wanted it for his wife so his kids could go to college. The settling is chilling and the writing is grueling. The setting is rainy and described as hard asphalt, and they're going uphill a lot, and once again, it's raining a lot, and they have like only jackets. I really like the descriptions that appeared in this novel. I felt that they were really good on Stephen King's part. They were very well written, and they actually put you in the story, so you could actually really visualize what was going on. The use of game show quotes. I have to give props to Stephen King for this, because at every start of the chapter, Stephen King would put a game show quote in the text, and it was really creative, because when you think about it, this is like a game show. It's like a very violent, very scary, terrifying game show, but it is a game, and it's described by some of the characters in the book as a game. So I thought that was really creative. This one I'm gonna have to read because it's really long and I can't remember it off the top of my head, so I'm just gonna read it off of this. So Garrity wondered how it would be to lie in the biggest library silence of all, dreaming endless, thoughtless dreams behind your gummed down eyelids, dressed forever in your Sunday suit. No worries about money, success, fear, joy, pain, sorrow, or love. Absolute zero. No father, mother, girlfriend, lover. The dead are orphans. No company but the silence of like a moth's wing. An end to the agony of movement, to the long nightmare of going down the road. The body in peace, stillness, and order. The perfect darkness of death. Just how would that be? Just how would that be? That is beautiful writing. As scary as this book is, that is beautiful writing. The story is written beautifully. There's quotes in it that are just astounding. I definitely would recommend this book. Even though I only gave it 3 stars, I gave it 3 stars because of me and not because of the writing. Like, it's not bad or anything. I gave it 3 stars because I thought there was something missing, but maybe you have a different idea. It's scary without gore or monsters. Also, this one's really short. It's only about, I think it was like 200 pages in the book that I was reading it in. You'll get attached to the characters, so be careful with your heart, because you never know if your character is gonna make it or not. And it's a good, I would like to say that this is a good introduction to King's work. If you've never read Stephen King before, definitely check this out. It's really good writing, and the characters are great. The plot is terrifying. It's really good. So definitely check this out. If you like this kind of video, you can subscribe or hit the like button. If you don't, that's okay too. I'm here frequently on this channel talking about books. Catch you later.